Hello and welcome to the June 22nd, 2025 episode of Nick's News. I am your host, Nick, brought to you by Some Budget Studios. That's right, we're putting money into this project of ours. I thank you all so much for tuning in with us live or catching the replay on our YouTube page. This is a program dedicated to bringing good news to counter all of the bad news that we are bombarded with on a daily basis with the hope of bringing a little bit of joy back to the world. Several of our articles are pulled from sites like goodnewsnetwork.org and goodgoodgood.co, but we appreciate everything sent in by you, the newsies. Hello, Nico, and Producer Donna. Oh boy. Hi, Cassidy. I will preface this Nick's News with the following. Some of you are aware that I do feed feeder crickets to some of my bugs, namely Elmira, Sue, and Ripley. And right now in Ripley's vivarium, there is a male cricket chirping away. So at times you may see me turn angrily towards that side of the room. Hey, Joseph. I don't know if the chirping is coming through the microphone, but it has been near constant for the last hour and a half. And it is driving me insane. So, I'm trying to let nature take its course. I'm trying to let Ripley take care of the problem, but we'll see what happens. We're not going to let it stop us, though. Oh, it is. Oh, no. Well, this might be a short. Let's get to our news brew. We have another Producer Donna delivery special, and this one is absolutely fantastic and kind of brought back, like, core memories. For lucky best beer, drink Mr. Sparkaroo from Beard Brewing Company! That is right. This is Mr. Sparkle from Beard Brewing Company. If you are a Simpsons fan or used to watch The Simpsons back in the day, there was the Mr. Sparkle detergent cleaner. And the moment that I saw this beer, I lost my damn mind. This is a 4% ABV Rice Lager, and it should make for some very easy drinking, which will be good. I don't know if you've been checking out my personal Instagram, but I have been doing some brewery hopping, just to, get a good feel of Michigan's breweries. So, because it is a can, we don't need the bottle-song bottle opener. The glass, however, is going to be really interesting. This is the first time that I'll have used this glass. This was given to me by my friend Matt, and I'm very appreciative, Matt, for giving me this glass. This is called a subtle beer glass. Subtle beer glasses are fantastic for lagers. They bring out the very kind of softened tones of lagers. Lagers don't have a lot of nose. Usually they don't have a lot of flavor. They're just very easy, crisp drinking. But the unique shape of this glass is designed to promote those very light senses that can come from this kind of beer. So, let's blow the gain on the audio. And we'll get into the theatrics of however long it takes me to pour Mr. Sparkaroo! Oh my gosh, it looks like water. Wow. Ooh, it's got a lot of carbonation. A lot of carbonation that we want to get out of this glass, because I don't want that gas in me. Wow. That's practically water. Huh. I think that's one of the clearest beers I've ever seen. There's barely any color to it. Interesting. I've had a few rice lagers. I don't think I've ever seen them this clear, though. This is going to be a fascinating beer. We'll let that settle a bit while we get into our shout-outs. For our shout-outs, are you looking for amazing fine wine or cider? Fox and Hen Winery is located between downtown Grand Haven and Allendale in Michigan. They specialize in small batch wines and ciders that reflect the Lake Michigan climate. You can check them out Fridays and Saturdays from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. And they are absolutely fantastic. So to Fox and Hen, wow, the head is just bubbly on this. Mr. Sparkaroo. Cheers. Oh, you could crush the hell out of this. Oh my gosh, it's so light. But, like, the rice is just... There's a little bit of, like, white rice sweetness almost. Or, like, brown... Like, that kind of sweetness that you can get from white or brown rice sometimes. It's really coming through. Wow, it's a delicate beer, but it's really good. And it sparkles. Hey, Charlie. On behalf of Nick's News, happy Pride Month to all of our brothers, sisters, and everyone in between. We see you, we hear you, we love you. Cheers and happy Pride. I actually swung by Grand Rapids Pride, which was this weekend. Very amazing. Great to see a lot of folks. And good to see a lot of support from the city of Grand Rapids. So it was really cool. The cats have been keeping Joey busy while Steve was out of town. Tesla Tree Service is now up to 34 tree rescues this year as of the recording of this episode. Animal rescues are always free. If you haven't checked out their Facebook page, please do and show them some love and likes and shares. Tell them Nick's News sent you to Tesla Tree Service and their cat rescuing, and their, well, all animal rescuing. Cheers. Dirty Rogue says, a beer that's shiny. Yes, it is Mr. Spakaru. Oh, Dirty Rogue, I know you're going to love this. Look at that label. Look at that label. It is a sparkly beer, Mr. Sparkaroo. I need Ripley to kill that cricket. If I gave that cricket to Sue, this problem would be over, but Sue is like very big right now and very ornery. I don't know. I think Sue is in pre-molt. We'll talk about it in a moment. Let's get through the news quote. Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion, to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. That quote comes from Albert Einstein, German-born theoretical physicist who is best known for developing the theory of relativity. And I absolutely love that quote. Our task must be to free ourselves by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature and its beauty. And I think right now, in a time where we need openness and acceptance and compassion for everything around us, that is a very apt quote. So, Albert Einstein, cheers. Oh, that's good. That is amazingly it is subtle. Wow. I am going to obliterate this beer throughout this episode. Bug update. Everything is coming up bugs, except Elmira, who is still snoozing at the bottom of her vivarium. I'm really hoping that she will come out soon. It is starting to warm up, so we'll see what happens. Sue has been very skittish. I just peeked in while the timer was going, and I saw him at the entrance to the burrow. But he has not been coming out of his burrow much. He has not been venturing and exploring his home as much. So I'm not sure what's going on. He could be in pre-molt, where he's getting ready to shed his exoskeleton and get even bigger. But we're just going to have to keep an eye on him and see what happens. Ripley has been really enjoying the change in temperature. I've been allowing the bug room to warm up just a little bit more than normal. And Ripley's been really active for it. I also keep Ripley's tank very humid, which is exactly what she likes weather-wise. So maybe just the good conditions has her out and about. I'm going to try this week to get some Instagram photos of both Mr. Chonkerton, aka Sue, and Ripley for your viewing pleasure if you want to see those kinds of things. So keep an eye out on our Instagram this week. Alright, let's get into our good news. Our broadcast is broken up into 4 major categories, and those categories are science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice articles that we like to end on. We are going to start off in category 1, science and technology. And we call this one, What I Really Need is a Droid That Understands the Binary Language of Moisture Evaporators. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Oh, and expect a lot of snapping during this article. MIT's window-sized device pulls drinking water from thin air, even in the desert. This was brought to us by SciTech Daily, and it was posted on June 20th of 2025 by Jennifer Chu from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And we're already starting off. MIT engineers have created an atmospheric water harvester that can generate fresh water in any location, including extreme environments like Death Valley, California. Hey, Becky. No worries. I hope the beach was good. It looks hot as hell out there. I mean, I was walking around out there for a bit. It is hot. Today, 2.2 billion people around the world do not have access to safe drinking water. In the United States, over 46 million people face water insecurity, living without running water or relying on supplies that are unsafe to drink. As demand for the clean water grows, traditional sources like rivers, lakes, and reservoirs are being pushed to their limits. To help address this challenge, MIT engineers are exploring an alternative source, the air. Earth's atmosphere holds trillions of gallons of water in the form of water vapor. If this vapor can be captured and condensed efficiently, it could provide clean drinking water in areas where traditional supplies are unavailable. Working toward that goal, the MIT team has developed and tested a new atmospheric water harvester that successfully captures vapor and produces safe drinking water across a range of humidity levels, including extremely dry desert air. The device is a black vertical panel about the size of a window. It is made of a water-absorbing hydrogel and enclosed in a glass chamber coated with a cooling material. The hydrogel, which looks like black bubble wrap, features small dome-like shapes that swell as they absorb vapor. When the vapor evaporates, the domes shrink in an origami-like motion. The vapor condenses on the glass surface and flows through a tube as clean, drinkable water. Becky says of the horrific temperatures outside, it was actually cooler, nice breeze, and I tried to stay until sunset, but someone needed their mom. Aw, that's adorable. Unlike other systems that rely on batteries, solar panels, or electricity, this device operates entirely on its own. The team tested it for more than a week in Death Valley, California, the driest area in North America. Even under low humidity conditions, it produced up to 160 milliliters of drinking water per day, or roughly 2/3 of a cup. The team estimates that multiple vertical panels set up in a small array could passively supply a household with drinking water, even in arid desert environments. What's more, the system's water production should increase with humidity, supplying drinking water in temperate and tropical climates. We have built a meter-scale device that we hope to deploy in resource-limited regions, where even a solar cell is not very accessible, says Zhuanhe Zhao, the UNCAS and Helen Whitaker Professor of Mechanical Engineering and Civil and Environmental Engineering at MIT. It's a test of feasibility in scaling up this water harvesting technology. Now people can build it even larger or make it into parallel panels to supply drinking water to people and achieve real impact, they added. Zhao and his colleagues present the details of the new water harvesting design in a paper appearing in the journal Nature Water. The study's lead author is former MIT postdoc Will Chang Lu, who is currently an assistant professor at the National University of Singapore, or the NUS. MIT co-authors include Zhao Yunyan, Shukong Li, and Bole Deng, along with collaborators from multiple other institutions. Becky says, I love the snaps. I love engineering. Hydrogels are soft, porous materials that are made mainly from water and a microscopic network of interconnecting polymer fibers. If you've never seen hydrogels, check them out. They're very interesting. Zhao's group at MIT has primarily explored the use of hydrogels in biomedical applications, including adhesive coatings for medical implants, soft and flexible electrodes, and non-invasive imaging stickers. Links to all three of those articles available. Through our work with soft materials, one property we know very well is the way hydrogel is very good at absorbing water from air, Zhao says. Researchers are exploring a number of ways to harvest water vapor for drinking water. Among the most efficient so far are devices made from metallo-organic frameworks, or MOFs, ultra-porous materials that have also been shown to capture water from dry desert air. But the MOFs do not swell or stretch when absorbing water, and are limited in water-carrying capacities. And Dirty Rogue says we need engineering t-shirts. More opportunities for Nick's News merchandise. The group's new hydrogel-based water harvesters addresses another key problem in similar designs. Other groups have designed water harvesters out of micro or nanoporous hydrogels, but the water produced from these designs can be salty, requiring additional filtering. Salt is a naturally absorbent material, and researchers embed salts, typically lithium chloride, in hydrogel to increase the material's water absorption. The drawback, however, is that this salt can leak out with the water when it is eventually collected. The team's new design significantly limits salt leakage. Within the hydrogel itself, they include an extra ingredient, glycerol, a liquid compound that naturally stabilizes salt, keeping it within the gel rather than letting it crystallize and leak out with the water. The hydrogel itself has a microstructure that lacks nanoscale pores, which further prevents salt from escaping the material. The salt levels in the water they collected were below the standard threshold for safe drinking water, and significantly below the levels produced by many other hydrogel-based designs. That's really cool. I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit. In November of 2023, the team traveled to Death Valley, California, and set up the device as a vertical panel. Over 7 days, they took measurements as the hydrogel absorbed water vapor during the night, the time of day when water vapor in the desert is at its highest. In the daytime, with help from the sun, the harvested water evaporated out from the hydrogel and condensed onto the glass of the panel. Over this period, the device worked across a range of humidities from 21 to 88% and produced between 57 and the 161.5 milliliters of drinking water per day that we mentioned earlier. Even in the driest conditions, the device harvested more water than other passive and some actively powered designs. Now, mind you, what we said earlier about that 161.5 milliliters was about 2/3 of a cup. Now, humans need a little bit more than 2/3 of a cup of water to survive each day, but mind you, this is just one panel. This, used in concert with several other panels, is more than enough to produce all the drinking water you're going to need in a day, so long as this technology keeps up. So, that is pretty cool. This is just a proof of concept design, and there are a lot of things we can optimize, Liu says. For instance, we could have a multi-panel design, and we're working on a next generation of the material to further improve its intrinsic properties. We imagine that you could one day deploy an array of these panels, and the footprint is very small because they are all vertical, says Zhao, who has plans to further test the panels in many resource-limited regions. Then you could have many panels together collecting water all the time at household scale. That is really cool. To everybody involved at MIT producing window-sized devices that pull drinking water from the air. To all those engineers involved, cheers. All right, that's going to get us out of science and technology. We're going to move on to health and medicine, category 2. And we called this one Life-Saving Reminder. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Smart infant car seat created by LSU students aims to prevent hot car fatalities. This comes from Scripps News and was posted on June 11th of 2025 by the Scripps News Group. We are especially covering this because right now most of the continental U.S. is under what is called a heat dome. It is I believe, a high-pressure system that wants to promote hot temperatures, high humidity, low wind. Sometimes the wind can be variable, but a lot of heat dome situations crank up the heat. That's all it's about. It's a feedback loop of heat. And Ontario, Producer Donna just corrected me, Ontario is also under that heat dome. So in situations like this, anything and everything we can do to prevent accidents and fatalities is a must. So that's why this is good news. So, in response to heartbreaking tragedies, a team of graduates from LSU creates a smart car seat designed to prevent children from dying in hot vehicles. Students at Louisiana State University are turning tragedy into action by building a device that protects children from hot car deaths. The device is a smart infant car seat with an alert system that uses weight and proximity sensors to detect if a child is left unattended. If a caregiver moves too far away, an alert is sent via Bluetooth to a separate fob device. So it's not the child screaming at you, it will now be a device screaming at you, which is usually 10 times worse. After learning about the families affected by these incidents, we felt a deep responsibility to develop a solution that could help prevent such tragedies and protect vulnerable lives, said Trevor Peralt, an electrical engineering major. The 3-student team earned their degrees in May and plan to continue work on their prototype. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 37 children die in hot cars each year, with more than half of those fatalities occurring because the caregiver simply forgot the child was still in the vehicle. We'd also like to explore mass production partnerships or pitch the concept to companies focused on child safety products, said student Victoria Irandi. Our device is a practical, affordable tool that can make a difference in everyday lives, they added. The Capstone Initiative demonstrates how students' innovation can translate into real-world solutions, giving future engineers hands-on experience while addressing important societal needs. San Jose State University researchers say when the air temperature reaches 100 degrees, the inside of a car can reach 145 degrees after an hour. They said keeping a window cracked has little effect on the temperature. That is really cool. To these students from Louisiana State University that have designed a smart child seat that basically yells at you with a separate key fob if you leave a child in your car and you walk away. Cheers. Hey, stop it. I can't reach that. I'm gonna throw something at that. Hey, stop it. Where are you even? Stop it, you. Yeah, I see you up there. Put your wings down. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. Get some help. All right. I'm gonna let the camera get my skin tone back. Oh. I hate that cricket. All right, that's going to get us out of health and medicine. We're going to jump into category 3, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals. This article hits close to home, and maybe if you're in the West Michigan area, you've heard about it over the last couple of years. We call this one Free at Last. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Don't you start. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Bear freed from plastic lid that was stuck around his neck for 2 years. One of these articles came from WZZM 13. This one that we're reading comes from People because every time I go to a WZZM 13 article, it wants to open up a pop-up that starts talking at me. Hey! me come in there. I'll come after you. I see you up there. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to keep these with me. Okay, back to the article. After anesthetizing the 110-pound black bear, wildlife biologists cut the lid off the animal's neck in Michigan. Oh, what is this pop-up? I don't care about Zuckerberg. Make it go away. Why does it do this? I don't care about this. Where's the X that I can hit that makes this... There it is. All right. A young male black bear in Michigan... Oh, sorry. This was posted to People, or the one that we're reading was posted to People on June 21st of 2025 by Stephanie Gorillas. Or Gorillas. Gorillas? Gorillas. Stop. Okay. A young male black bear in Michigan has been freed from a plastic lid that was stuck around his neck for the past 2 years. Michigan's Department of Natural Resources, or the DNR, said in a June 18 press release that wildlife biologists in Montgomery County cut the lid off the 110-pound bear's neck on June 2nd after the wild animal had accidentally gotten his head stuck in the lid's 5-inch hole years ago. Being able to capture this bear and remove the encumbrance it had been carrying for 2 years was extremely rewarding. But we hope this situation will benefit additional bears and other wildlife species as well, DNR's bear, fur bearer, and small game specialist Cody Norton told People. The DNR said in its release that its Atlanta field office first became aware of the bear in 2023, after seeing trail camera photos of the then cub with its head stuck in the lid. Over the next 2 years, the bear would appear on other trail cameras but disappear just as quickly. The bear's discovery came after a Hamilton, Michigan resident spotted the animal and alerted the DNR in late May, the agency said. With the landowner's permission, state biologists set up an enclosure, and a successful capture occurred on June 2nd. They gave the bear anesthesia and removed the lid. The bear was then released back onto the property after the anesthesia wore off. Becky says, "Poor baby bear." Earlier, when I was shaking my feeding tongs at the cricket, Charlie said, "I'm going to get you a little chancla on a stick." And Dirty Rogue threw in, "Bug parenting, please stand by." We need to get a technical difficulties page, but it's just bug parenting, and it's me, like, shaking the tongs at a bug. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Back to the article. The now 2-year-old bear's neck had significant scarring and abscesses, but it was otherwise healthy, the agency said. It is not yet known how the bear got its head stuck in a lid that was similar to those that fit 55-gallon drums used by hunters to bait bear and by landowners to store materials that can attract bears, such as chicken feed, according to the release. Although it is legal to have bait containers, they can only be used on private land, and the lids may only have holes that are either 1 inch or less in diameter or 22 inches or greater in diameter, the DNR said. So basically the hole on these bait lids has to either be like that or like that, so that a bear can't get its head stuck. Lo and behold, this one found the one that was just right. Norton said that he wanted the bear's predicament to be a reminder of how to safely disregard trash so that a danger isn't posed to wildlife. Most importantly, the example provided by this bear's predicament highlights the importance of securing or modifying trash, storing feed and other attractants, and using bait as a hunting method in ways to prevent wild animals from becoming stuck, Norton said. To the DNR for getting their hands on this bear and finally getting that damn lid off of its neck after 2 years. And to the bear, I hope you have a long life, Mr. Bear. Cheers. And this next one we called simply Chester Zoo Success. copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. This one I actually heard on multiple sites. Mayanaka says, needs to be named Winnie for how he got stuck. Aww. I am going to put you in Sue's tank, and you will never be seen again. No. No. That... You will go in the bad place. That is the bad place. This cricket, he really wants to die. Zoo celebrates as incredibly rare chicks hatch. This was posted to the BBC News on June 18th of 2025 by Angela Ferguson. I'm going to put you in the bad place. Conservationists from Chester Zoo are celebrating after 3 incredibly rare birds have hatched as part of an international conservation project. The blue-eyed ground doves, which were reared at the Parc des Aves, it's French, Conservation Center, no, it's Spanish, Parc des Aves. I am going to butcher that, I apologize. Conservation Center in Brazil are in danger of becoming extinct, the zoo said. Bird experts at the zoo have been working on the project alongside colleagues from the South American country and the USA. The zoo's head of birds, Andrew Owen, traveled to Brazil to provide technical support for the project alongside lead keeper for birds Victoria Caldas, who helped with the hand rearing of the chicks. The zoo said just 11 adult members of the species live in the wild, but they hoped that chicks hatched in human care could help turn the tide. Only 11 of these in the wild still, and this species is trying with human help to make a comeback. The chicks were hatched after being incubated as part of a joint effort between Chester Zoo, Parc des Aves, and Save Brazil, with support from Toledo Zoo and Bronx Zoo in the USA. Real life Rio, says Charlie. It said this was the most successful hatch since the project began, boosting the survival odds of one of the most endangered birds in the world. In 2015, the blue-eyed ground dove, Columbina cyanopus, was rediscovered after there had been no confirmed sightings for over 70 years. The species, which is only found in Brazil, faces threats in the wild, including human-caused fires and climate change. Chester Zoo experts were among the team which carefully selected and incubated a small number of wild-laid eggs, the zoo said. It's a real privilege for Chester Zoo to be involved in the work to help conserve the blue-eyed ground dove, Mr. Owen said. This unique species is on the brink of extinction, and without the dedication and passion of all the conservationists involved, including Chester Zoo's bird staff, this bird may be lost forever. He said the arrival of the chicks built on the successes of 2023 and 2024, and doubled the conservation breeding insurance population. Mr. Owen said that around-the-clock care and attention are needed to rear these tiny and delicate birds. It was hoped that the doves, once mature, would start to breed in their purpose-built aviaries at Parc des Aves, he added. Paloma Bassa, technical director of Parc des Aves, said it was a joy and also a great responsibility to see the 3 chicks. Each hatching represents a real chance to reverse the fate of this species, she said. Parc des Aves is now home to 6 blue-eyed ground doves. The species is critically endangered according to the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List. To Chester Zoo, Parc des Aves, and everybody involved with trying their best to help the blue-eyed ground dove make a return from extinction. Cheers. It really is a real-life Rio. Alright, that's going to get us out of Flora and Fauna. We are going to get into Wholesome Notes, our final category. And our first article in Wholesome Notes is a heckin' good boy article. I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Hero rescue dog detects stranger's oncoming seizure and won't leave his side. This was posted to goodnewsnetwork.org on June 16th of 2025 by Andy Corbley. At an adoption meet and greet event hosted by an animal rescue, a shelter dog performed an extraordinary act of diagnosis without ever being trained to do so. Between 4 and 5 years of age from unknown breeding, Sienna broke away from the crowd of dogs, appreciative attendees, and familiar caretakers, walking right up to a man at a slight distance from center of the event. She sat down, looked at him in the eye, put her paw on his leg, and refused to leave his side. She sat quietly at his feet, refused to budge, and softly placed her paw on his leg, the shelter called Friends of Campbell County Animal Control of Virginia said in a Facebook post. It wasn't a trick, it wasn't prompted, it was pure intuition. She then started pawing at his leg. Despite never receiving training on how to detect medical emergencies, Sienna knew something was wrong. That intuition proved correct. Moments later, the shelter wrote, the man's wife approached and gasped, "My husband is either having a seizure or is about to have one." In the comments section of the Facebook post, the man's wife, Kristen Davis, explained that he had suffered from several myoclonic seizures that morning, but after returning home for a rest, he seemed to have recovered. Venturing out later that day was too much, it seemed, and the seizures returned just as Sienna had predicted, something the rescue described as part of the magic and unspoken wisdom that shelter dogs carry with them. While many in the comments section felt it was destiny that Davis and her husband adopt Sienna, they already have 3 dogs and can spare neither room nor resources for a 4th pup. However, the Friends of Campbell County Animal Control have since shared that readers have covered the cost of a necessary surgery and adoption fees for Sienna. She remains available for a forever home free of any charge. She has the innate ability to alert to a stranger's medical needs with no special training and just her love for humans as her motivation. They wrote on Facebook, "Please help us find her the home she deserves. A family out there needs her as much as she needs them." Interested parties can click on the link for adoption. We will continue to monitor this, and we hope that Sienna is going to find her forever home because she is one heckin' good girl. To Sienna, cheers. Just got some eye drop stuff stuck on my eyelid. There we go. These long Italian lashes. Last article of the night we called Stitching Lives Back Together. And I will copy and paste this into the chat if y'all want to read along. Netflix released a documentary about a prison's quilting club. Now they're overwhelmed with donations. This was posted to goodgoodgood.co on June 13th of 2025 by Cameron Baker. In May, Netflix released a new title, The Quilters. The 33-minute documentary, directed by Jennifer McShane and released in 2024, tells the story of a group of men in a maximum security prison in Missouri who sew beautiful personalized quilts for foster children. It's part of a restorative justice program under the Missouri Department of Corrections, which combines give-back programs with the opportunity for offender volunteers to strengthen social bonds through serving fellow citizens. In the quilt program, participants sew and donate handmade quilts, including weighted and fidget quilts for people with autism or Alzheimer's disease. The documentary focuses specifically on a group of quilters who sew blankets for foster children awaiting adoption. They show up to the workshop from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., 5 days a week, and they are required to have no violations or write-ups during their incarceration to participate in the program. Since the program's inception, the group has donated over 2,000 quilts. Throughout the film, subjects are seen piecing together the quilts, interspersed with clips of them explaining why they make the quilts, and moments of reflection on their past. From design to completion, the men reveal their struggles, triumphs, and sense of pride in creating something beautiful in this windowless, sacred space deep within the prison's walls. Netflix's description of the film reads, "The documentary has resonated with viewers in such a profound way that the Missouri Department of Corrections had to issue a statement to ask the community to stop sending donations of fabric and yarn to the prison. We too are moved by the film and are every day awestruck by the generous and beautiful work done by Missourians in our restorative justice organization programs," the statement reads. This is like some Shawshank Redemption stuff with Andy sending the letters about the library and just the sheer amount of material sent. But in this case, there's no request. It's simply these incarcerated individuals are making these quilts. They're choosing to be in this program and make these quilts, and this community is sending them materials to do so. It is a wonderful support system. In addition to South Central Correctional Center, the department supports quilting programs at multiple other sites. Donations of quilting supplies and equipment are needed and appreciated. However, we currently are overwhelmed by donations and are running out of storage space for fabric and yarn. Okay, so send that to the other places that need it. Seems simple. Producer Donna says, "I love this story. I'm going to have to look up that Netflix film." I am too. I would implore everybody, if you want to check out The Quilters on Netflix. Instead, the department requested that supporters consider a monetary donation to help fund all restorative justice programs in the organization. These other programs include cultivating gardens to donate fresh produce to food banks, training rescue dogs, completing woodworking projects for donation, creating educational materials for local students, and producing audio and braille publications for Missourians with visual impairments. With the goal of giving back to the people of the state, Missourians in state correctional centers perform volunteer work and complete projects to support nonprofit agencies, the department's webpage about restorative justice explained. Through restorative justice initiatives, offenders serve fellow citizens and strengthen social bonds that serve as the foundation of communities. And it seems to be working. As the men in the documentary share, the quilting projects give them a renewed sense of purpose and identity. "It's a little community inside a big community," one offender volunteer said in the documentary's trailer. "We're just trying to do better," another added. "We all ain't perfect, but we trying. This is what puts me on the outside. When I do this, I don't even be in here." Director McShane saw this spark quickly, and it's clear viewers do too. "I was really taken with what was happening here," McShane told cinema blog The Movable Fest last summer. "It was like those posters you see of a little flower growing out of the cement. That's how I felt. The quilters were just so passionate about what they were doing. They felt quilting was really healing, and it was this imaginary bridge to the outside world in terms of doing something positive and feeling pride, which you don't often experience in other prisons." To the quilters in the Missouri Department of Corrections, and to everybody trying to turn a new leaf and giving back to the community regardless of the situation, and to Netflix and director Jennifer McShane for shedding light on this. Cheers. Well, thank you all again for tuning in or catching the replay on the Nix News YouTube page. We had 6 amazing articles tonight, all good news. Again, we're live every Sunday, and our next episode is going to be on June 29th of 2025, and that is going to be a chat and chill. We won't have any articles that night. We are going to do an hour of chat and chill, and I have some very big news that I am not going to reveal until the 29th. I am sorry for such a stinger, such a cliffhanger, but I am going to announce some very big news going on in my life on the 29th. As it is also a chat and chill, if you want to get some questions ready to ask myself or Producer Donna or anybody in our team, by all means, send them in. We will be happy to answer questions throughout the episode. We are going to have some big beers, so check out our Instagram to see the upcoming news brew. And it should be a good one. At least I think it's going to be a very memorable Nick's News. So, I encourage participation. If you feel inclined, you can message or post suggestions for news brews, shoutouts, news quotes, and even good news articles that we can present on future episodes. If you send us a bunch of articles, we recommend that you spread them out across our 4 major categories, which again were science and technology, health and medicine, flora and fauna, aka plants and animals, and wholesome notes, the really nice articles that we like to end on. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment to any of our content on Facebook and YouTube to get good news and joy out into the algorithm. I'll never tell you what to do, but I can't thank you all enough so much for all of your interaction with our content and getting our Hope Core stuff out there, just trying to turn the algorithm off to all the bad news we're bombarded with and getting our good news out for folks to see. It's hard to find good news sometimes, and I'm so happy that all of you are with us and are interacting with us and sharing our content and getting that good news out there for others. So thank you all so much. As always, thank you again. I love you all. Have a great night, and I will play us out.